we've just started this episode with history, which I love. It's my favorite subject. Love to explore history. But then let's talk a little bit more about your personal history and how you got to the position that you're in now. Because obviously you grew up in Nigeria, you went to university in Nigeria, and now you are in the UK working in one of the key financial services institutions in the UK. How did you get to that stage? What was your journey like? I'd love to hear your personal story. Starting from anywhere you want to start from, let's say university times. What was university like? Was it free education in Nigeria?
Yeah, it was free. I mean, I'll go way back. I was born in Lagos, family of 7 children. So a big family. We had to have a minivan. We couldn't have a regular car to go to church.
Station wagon.
Minivan, proper like your bus to get around when we're going to church, when the whole family is going. So 7 kids. My dad was a lawyer. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And the priority for them was education of their children, and it was so important. And also there was an emphasis on speaking English. Whilst I grew up in Nigeria and everyone around me was speaking Yoruba, I didn't speak much Yoruba, so I didn't really have a very strong Nigerian accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like you didn't even, like even when you were on the streets or on the playgrounds playing with the kids?
I never went on the streets because my parents didn't let us go out to play with the other kids. We were always studying at home. During the holidays, during the summer breaks, you had to go for summer lesson. And
oh my God, education.
You will buy the book, the books for next term or next year. And during the summer holidays, you will read the whole book before you start school. So by the time you're going into your classes, you would have read everything before you even started the lesson.
Wow, a very studious household. Yeah.
So there was an expectation that you were either first, second, or third
in class
at the end of every term. If worst case, maybe 10th, but wow, anything below that, yeah, you are in trouble.
Do you know what we're talking about?
What, in terms of grading systems?
Yeah, in Nigeria, the position.
Yeah, I got positioned too, by the way, because I went to boarding school. So yeah, top 10 was like top 3. But then if you made the top 10, then that was like really good. Yeah, I do understand.
I completely forgot about that system. That shows how long I've been in the UK. Because when I was in Nigeria, that system used to scare me. I used to be like 27th.
There is a lot of pressure on children, yeah.
I was so stupid. And like my parents would be like, my mom would be like, what, the person that came first, wasn't he born by somebody like you? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But somebody has to make, like, not everyone can be the top 3.
Somebody has to be 27.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Anyways, we were brought up to be very studious. We didn't go out and play with other kids. That was in primary school though. So secondary school, I went to boarding school. Federal Government College, Lagos.
You spread your wings a little bit in boarding school?
A little bit, yeah. I got into a bit of trouble. But then my dad was the chairman of the Parents Teachers Association.
Oh, wow.
So my older brother, myself, and one of my younger sisters were all in the same school. But my older brother left before my younger sister came.
This period of that you were going to school, this sounds like the good, like, I don't want to say good times, but when Nigeria was still kind of respectable, educationally.
It was not as bad as now. Education was still good.
Those education institutions, were they free? Were you able to attend them for free?
Yes.
Were they good quality?
Yeah.
Compared to what we have now?
The federal government colleges were set up by the government, and you had to pass some tests before you could get into those schools, just like you built grammar school in the UK.
I see.
You had to pass some tests, but they had a quota for diversity. We had diversity at the time. D&I is not new.
What year was this?
Oh my God, in the 80s.
Nigeria had DI quota.
Yeah,
wow.
For people from underprivileged ethnic backgrounds, mostly from the northern states. And they would go to different schools around the country. They didn't have to pass the same test that other privileged people did. Anyway, so it was boarding school. It was hard when you were junior, and there was bullying, there was lots of stress, but you also had your free time. So we got into lots of naughty things. And it was a mixed, my school was a mixed school. So some people got really naughty and got into trouble. And then, yeah, they were just mischievous. But anyway, during that time, in fact, no, from primary school, I'd been drawing. I've always been good at art. I used to draw superheroes. I would draw Spider-Man and I'd cut out the shape of Spider-Man. I used to sell it to my mates in primary school for like 10 kobo. I used to buy sweets and stuff.
Yeah.
And then in secondary school, I was using it to make the girls like me. I used to draw all their art homework and their geography homework. I'll draw all the maps and everything, the biology assignment, I'll draw it.
But you never thought being an artist was a real thing, I'm sure, with your parents being so focused on education.
Yeah, my dad didn't appreciate that I was drawing more than I was studying. I used to go during holidays. We had these art shops where you go and buy art stationery, and I was just like sniffing the smell of the paper and the pens. And when I had a little bit of money, I would buy some particular pencils, all the B range of pencils. I'll buy cartridge paper and I will draw. But when my grades started going down and it didn't look like I was going to be a doctor, like my dad wanted, yeah, he just took all my stuff and just destroyed it. It took all my art stuff and that till today is still painful because it took me years of buying 2 pencils and 1 sketch pad and all of that. But it is what it is.
And you're not a doctor now anyways.
No, I'm not.
What happened? How did you change?
I still didn't do well with my physics and chemistry and biology, all right? But I was okay with other things, other subjects. So straight away, I wasn't going to be into the sciences. I ended up going to University of Ibadan to study economics. So I got a degree in economics. And well, of course, in my university days, what I used to do with my art, I used to make Valentine cards.
Oh,
Right. So every Valentine's Day for 2 weeks before, I won't go for lectures because I've got orders for cards.
you were making money. You were a full entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah. I made at least 6 months of maintenance money from Valentine cards. I used to read poems, so I could write love pieces and Valentine cards, and everyone was just like, this guy is just churning out all of these amazing things. I did that quite a bit in my university days. But yeah, it was in UI, finished my economics degree, and then did my national youth service in Pricewaterhouse, in Coopers and Libran at the time, before it became PricewaterhouseCoopers.
They had a branch in Nigeria?
Yeah. They had Coopers and Librans and Pricewaterhouse in Nigeria. That's where I started my career anyway. Joined Coopers and Libran, then there was a merger with PwC. And at the time, you had to be an accountant to work in an audit firm. I had to go up in doing accounting. That didn't work either.
I'm not surprised. You have a very creative mind.
Creative accounting means you're a criminal. You can't break the rules. When you're doing accounting, you have to follow the rules. And that's not my style. That's not my natural space. In that whole process, I had this vision of wanting to be, because the way I spoke was slightly different. Right? I wasn't speaking with a Nigerian accent. I wasn't speaking Yoruba and all that. I sort of felt like I belonged in a bigger space, in a different, I want to be globally recognized professional in my field. That's just the statement I had in my head. How that was going to happen, I don't know. I didn't know at the time. So I said, okay. And while I was in university, we had lots of university lecturers going on strike. Okay.
That was happening even in your time?
Yes. And they would go on strike for like 6 months.
Wow.
Oh my God. Samira, this is the same problem that we discussed with Awe when she was in university. It's still happening till today. I'm assuming, what was the reason for those strikes?
It was pay, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, the strikes were good for me because I got a job in a graphic art studio and I would work throughout the strikes and make some money. I also got a contract to do a comic book for a friend of mine.
Ooh.
He had a script for a play and couldn't make the play. So can you make a comic book out of this? And I did that. 3 weeks in front of a mirror, posing and all of that, and drawing the poses. Made some good money. Really, I had so much fun.